Hey family, welcome. I'm gonna be sharing an encoded message using an analogy that is very simple to decipher and decode. The analogy that I'm gonna use is the analogy of the game. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna keep this very simple and easy to decode. So a game can only be played when the players agree to play the game. And if one player chooses to not play the game anymore, then that player is out of the game. If the other players still choose to continue with the game, they can continue and the game will happen between them. But when a player chooses to stop playing the game ends for that player. A game between one or more people can only happen with the agreement to play the game. What happens if all or most of the players decide to stop playing the game? Every time we choose consciously or unconsciously to play a game, we are choosing to play the game of giving it our power to make the game real. We can never truly give our power away, and our power can never be taken from us. It's always here. It cannot be touched, it cannot be stolen, it cannot be given away, it cannot be lost. It's always here. But what we can do is choose to play a game where we're giving our power to a character in the game or to another player in the game. Sometimes we choose to play games consciously, and sometimes we choose to play games unconsciously. But the thing about the games is that they can only happen when we choose to play them. You know you can win a game, so imagine like a chess game, and you can win and you go checkmate. And that's one way of winning the game, by playing the game. You're playing the game and then you win and then you go checkmate. But if you're playing, you realize that you're playing a game that you actually don't want to be playing. Instead of going on playing the game until you get to checkmate, you can simply remove yourself from the game and decide that you don't want to play the game anymore. With this analogy, usually when you talk about games, game is supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to be something that all people playing enjoy. So if we're not enjoying the game that we're playing, we can simply stop playing the game. We don't need to try to win the game as fast as we can or whatever to go checkmate. We can simply remove ourselves from the game. And again, no one can make you play a game that you don't want to play. It's a game. It's an illusion. It's a play. And you only play and act in the play if you so choose to. And to remove yourself from the game is as simple as deciding it. You know, when you're playing a game, whatever game it is, and your character in the game dies or something like that, you're aware that you didn't die. You're aware that you're here and you're playing a game. You're very much aware that that's just a game and maybe your character died or won the game. But it's just a game. You're still here, the one choosing to play. And just as easy as it is to choose to play a game, you can also just as easily remove yourself from playing. So imagine that the whole world is choosing consciously or unconsciously to play a game. And imagine that most of the players realize that this is not a really fun game. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm really not enjoying myself. I don't want to play anymore. So imagine most of the players decide that they don't want to play the game anymore and they remove themselves from the game. What happens to the game? Because a game cannot be a game, it doesn't exist if you're not playing. So if no one, there was a game that all of us were playing. So imagine all of us decide to not play the game anymore. Then the game doesn't exist anymore. Because no one is feeding it. No one is choosing to play it, therefore feeding it and keeping it going, you know? If everyone removes themselves from the game is no longer true. It's no longer a game. It no longer exists. We cannot be forced to play a game that we don't want to. It's us who choose to play or not play any game. And again, a game is supposed to be something fun, right? That's the word we use to describe fun things we do. We call them games. So if it's not fun and you're not enjoying it, why would you play it? And when you are in a game, whatever it is that your character is going through, you know that you can stop the game and remove yourself from the game at any moment just as easily, again, as you decided to start the game. The game can only exist when all the players choose to, yes, let's play a game. If all the players choose to stop the game stops. Super simple. When you are playing a game, you are aware that you are the one playing your character. Your character is not playing you. What happens to your character in the game is not happening to you. Whatever game, video games, whatever game you're playing. You know what happens to the chess pieces or to the character in the video game is not really happening to you. Because here you are, seated wherever you are seated, just enjoying playing a game. And if you don't like to play, you just stop it and put it aside. And the characters from the game, from the video game, cannot come to you, you who is playing the game, and demand you to continue playing. Because again, they are characters in the game, and they can only interact with your character in the game. So if you're not playing your character in the game, the other characters in the game cannot come to you, the one who is playing your character from the outside. They cannot tell you to keep playing, obviously, right? Just like the chess pieces cannot come to you like, move your chess piece. And you're like, no, I don't want to play anymore. The characters in the game cannot come to you, the player, the true player, and ask you to keep playing. It's you who chooses to play. And if all the players playing a game decide to stop playing, the game is no more. Dear family, this is a very simple, encoded message for you to decode and decipher. And it's a very simple yet powerful one. And I share this with all the love, as always. Blessings.